This is the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on November the 6th, 2015. Our time is 8:44 Mountain. Radio show runs on 6:30 CHED in Edmonton. Our Edmonton Eskimos in the Western Final. So that means our show will be moved around a little. We will try and give you pre-warning. Don't forget, we run normally Sunday at 3 on 6:30 CHED. If you ever miss a radio show, they are archived on Harold's two websites, HESradio.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. We have a podcast through iTunes. Type in The World Financial Report on Radio. You will find us there. You can subscribe to the podcast. The show is on your portable device, can go anywhere you do. Harold's websites, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. He has an auction site as well, hsfineauctions.com. And the two sites where the shows are streaming, HESradio.com and rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Featured diamond of the week from rarecoloreddiamonds.com is a .22 carat pear cut fancy red argyle. We'll talk more about this diamond a little later in the show. And there are two big diamonds on the block next week. One for possibly up to $55 million, the other for up to $28 million. We'll talk about that. As we start today's show, jobs numbers out of the United States. They had been expecting 185,000. Obviously, the bar was very low on purpose. They ended up with 271,000. It's almost a 100% guarantee now that they will raise rates in the United States in December. The U.S. dollar, as Harold had predicted, is up strong today. It's at 99.15 as we speak, up a penny and 118, so 1.18. Canadian dollar down to 75.18. Canadian jobs numbers came out. We gained 44,400 jobs. The unemployment rate at 7%. But Harold, all your predictions about the United States and the U.S. dollar strengthening. Gold is pulling back. It's pulled back over $100 since we really started to say in the last little while that look out, it's going to be pulling back. Now is not the time to be moving in. Your predictions have been coming true.
Well, exactly. And again, there's more to come, Randy. As we're taping the show right now, gold is down $16 on the day, so it's trading right now at 1,088. It did hit 1,084, where there's very heavy support. But once we broke 1,080, and that will happen very soon, then the next major level is 1,025, and then 1,000. So I'm pretty sure we're going to hit the gold market down to 1,000. This is not a negative. This is something that had to happen. Again, we've been talking about this for a long time now, so this shouldn't be a surprise. The other thing that we did predict substantially was what was going to happen in the U.S. dollar. And right now, as we're taping the show, the U.S. dollar is up a penny and a quarter at 99.18. So as I've been saying for the last several months, is that we are going to break par on the U.S. dollar. And that's going to be coming very soon because, again, now that we feel that they are going to raise interest rates in December, there's no way that the U.S. dollar is not going to strengthen further than where it is right now. So, again, in the futures market, once the U.S. dollar breaks par, which is only 80 points from here, there's buy orders right above that level that are going to send the U.S. dollar skyrocketing. And I think that the U.S. dollar is going to go to 108, 109 in that area, the same level that we saw back in the 90s. So how is that going to affect the markets? Well, obviously, if the U.S. dollar is the strongest currency, all other currencies will be measured against the U.S. dollar. I've been predicting that the Canadian dollar was going to fall substantially, and it's certainly doing that. Right now, it's trading at 132.89. I know this is not going to be popular, but I do believe that the Canadian dollar is going to drop all the way down to 60 cents as the U.S. dollar continues to gain strength. Now, it's not that things are great in the United States. Believe me, they've got their issues. But the problem is that the United States is doing better than almost every other country, and the U.S. dollar is tremendously strong and going to get a lot stronger. I've been begging you and urging you to get dollars out of Canadian dollars and get them into U.S.-based investments. I've got some of those type of investments for you that you'll make a tremendous return on. But again, you're going to have to convert to Canadian to American, and I do believe that there's so much more room to make money on the American dollar that all of my clients that are invested in these type of deals are going to make a fortune on the currency alone. So again, if you're worried about what's happening in the currency markets, and you should be, you need to give me a call, and I can help you make money in these markets and get you out of bad situations and get you into something much more substantial. So again, as we're taping the show here on Friday, gold is down $16 to 1,088. Once we break the 1,080 level, 1,000 is the next major point that we're looking at. Silver is down 18 cents. We're trading right now at 1486. If my predictions are correct, silver is going to come down to the 1150 to 1250 level. So if that puts you into any type of trouble, you should take this information and use it to your best advantage. I've never recommended leveraging or financing metals. I only recommend that you own them outright because, again, we don't want to trade gold and silver. We want to buy gold and silver as a hedge against currency devaluations and upcoming inflation. That's why they've held off, the Fed has held off so long of raising interest rates because of a lack of inflation. But we know that the numbers that the U.S. uses for inflation are not accurate, and we do believe that inflation is going to be a major issue moving forward. That's why we're saying to hold on to gold, because gold could eventually go to $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 or higher when all of these markets really start to collide. So, again, at this point, I'm perfectly comfortable as long as you're not leveraged or financing your metals. If you own your gold and silver outright, don't worry about gold dropping to 1,000. It'll give you an opportunity to possibly average down and buy some lesser priced gold. But I'm not saying to buy gold at this particular point. I'm saying to hold off and wait till gold comes down to 1,000. Then we'll reassess the market at that particular point, and I'll let you know whether I feel the market's going to go any lower than where it is right now. Over the longer term, we do anticipate that the gold market is going to skyrocket and make our clients an awful lot of money. But at this particular point, the market's doing exactly what we predicted it would do. The U.S. dollar right now is trading at 99.18. That's an unbelievable move because just a few days ago, the U.S. dollar was actually trading at 97 cents. So we've seen a huge move in the market, and again, this is going to continue. The other thing that we've talked an awful lot about on the show is the price of oil dropping further. I know, again, that's not a popular recommendation in Canada because, let's face it, our economy is based on what oil and commodities are doing. But as we have been saying for quite a while now, Iran is just getting ready to ship oil. It's in the newsletter this week. So if you don't get our newsletter, you need to get it because it gives you all this information that you need to make an intelligent decision. So based on the fact that Iran is starting to ship oil and Russia is starting to ship oil again, you're talking low-priced oil, it's got to bring down the price of oil because there's already a huge glut of oil on the market. I know this is not a popular call, but every indication I have is that the price of oil is going to drop into the low 30s or high 20s before it goes higher. So again, this is what's happening in the marketplace at this particular point. Again, if you're stuck in your investments at this particular point and don't know what to do, give me a call. I don't care how big or small of an investor you are. Most of my clients are hard-working, everyday Canadians that just want to do better than 1% return that you're getting by putting your money in the bank. And when you figure out inflation and everything in taxes, you're losing money by doing nothing. I've got some opportunities, even for smaller investors, that you could do tremendously well with, and they're American-based investments. So, again, if you're concerned, and you should be, about what's happening with the U.S. Canadian dollars, what's happening with gold and silver and oil, you need to give me a call, and I'll explain to you what your best options are. And if I feel that you're properly situated and you don't have anything to do, I'm certainly going to tell you that. All Randy and I want is for our Canadian clients to continue to do well and have the information that they need to make an intelligent business decision. So, again, Randy, at this particular point, no matter how unpopular the calls were, everything that we've recommended in the last several months is happening at this particular point. And believe me, the recommendations are going to turn out because We now know that they are going to raise interest rates in December, and that's only going to strengthen the U.S. dollar stronger than where it is right now. So just so you know, and you can keep this in your mind, is that the stronger the U.S. dollar, the weaker gold. The lower oil prices go, the weaker the Canadian dollar. Those are engraved in stone. Those are situations that you can count on when you're trading. I've traded commodities and actually owned one of the largest brokerage firms in all of North America. I sold that 17 years ago, but I'm very, very well known for picking market trends. We did pick the market trend from gold from 250 all the way up to 1900. And we also picked the trend in silver from $3.80 all the way up to $50. So again, at this particular point, I'm positive that the recommendations that we made are going to continue to move in our fashion. And again, if you're not getting the right information, number one, get our free newsletter. We don't charge for the newsletter. We don't charge for radio shows. We don't charge for seminars. We don't charge for information. We want the listeners to our radio show to do well and get through these difficult times. And if you listen to what we're saying, we're very conservative. We never recommend leveraging. We never recommend financing the metals type of thing. So, again, at this point, if you're not doing well and you're confused about what the next moves are, give me a call, and I'll sit down with you over the phone and explain everything that's happening and how you can profit and protect yourself from those situations.
Speak with Harold, personally, privately, 1-800-432-1022. Take him up on his offer. Speak with him. Find out more about investing in today's very turbulent and confusing financial markets, financially and even geopolitically. Harold's website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. The featured diamond of the week is a .22 carat pear-cut fancy red argyle. It is a stunning diamond. If you would like to see more, go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Featured Diamond of the Week. Harold's website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, telephone number 1-800-432-1022. What happens when currencies get completely out of control? You have countries like Venezuela, where you have iPhones at $50,000 each. And it came out this week, a large order of McDonald's fries costs about $126 in Venezuela. Absolutely stunning. It just goes to show when things get completely out of control, the prices go absolutely insane. One of the items that came out this week, it's in our free weekly newsletter. They call him the $20 trillion man. As Harold was saying, the United States, they have their problems. Do not kid yourself. The currency may be strong, but it's really the least dirty shirt scenario with the U.S. dollar. The national debt nearly doubles during the Obama presidency. When U.S. President Obama signs into law the new 2-year budget deal, his action will bring into sharper focus a part of his legacy that he doesn't like to talk about. He is the $20 trillion man. Mr. Obama's spending agreement with Congress will suspend the nation's debt limit and allow the Treasury to borrow another $1.5 trillion or so by the end of his presidency in 2017, adding to the current total debt of around $18.15 trillion. The red ink will likely be around $20 trillion, right around the time that U.S. President Obama leaves the Oval Office when his term is done. And add to that, the debt ceiling was lifted the same day the debt jumped $339 billion. It jumped from $18.153 trillion to $18.492 trillion on Monday when U.S. President Obama signed that agreement. It's literally astounding when you think about it that they will have no limits on borrowing, and the debt limit is unlimited for the next 2 years. So they could really go on a spending spree. And Harold, at some point, the United States will have a day of reckoning because the numbers get to be so large that it's like a massive snowball going down a hill that you cannot stop. the interest, when interest rates go up, and they may raise interest rates in December, but if they get to more normalized interest rates, the United States will be paying interest on the debt that is a massive portion of their budget. And that will be very, very difficult on the U.S. government because they already have issues with entitlements paying for the Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security as it is. You add to the fact that they borrowed all this money, they'll be paying more interest when interest rates go up. It's really a recipe for disaster when it comes to a possible currency crisis or even a financial crisis because the debt is absolutely massive. Today, we don't have to worry about it worldwide, but Harold, there is a day of reckoning coming.
Oh, you better believe. And again, that's the reason that we recommend hard assets, because there is no doubt that that day is coming. It's just at this particular point, and you know, the crazy thing is, and how the markets are so manipulated, is that with this gigantic debt, there's no way, and all the money that was printed in the U.S., the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, there's no way in the world that the U.S. dollar should be at the level that it's at. But again, everything is manipulated today, and everything is it's a mirage. It's to make you think that everything is okay. But it's not. It would literally be impossible for the American dollar to get to the level that it is right now with the amount of money that is printed. It's been so devalued, it's insane. But the fact is that because it appears to be the only game in town right now, it appears that the U.S. economy is doing better than other economies. So again, they tend to bid up the U.S. dollar. But if you look at it properly, the fact is that the U.S. dollar should be one of the weakest currencies that there is. That's why you need information. That's why you need to know what to do, because, again, these illusions are very distracting. If you sit there and look at common sense and say this should happen and this should happen, that is true in a normal market, but we're not in normal markets and we're not in normal times. So the fact is that you have to know the game that they're playing, and you have to know support and resistance levels and how to read charts and everything like that in order to understand why the markets are doing what they're doing. What's happening in Venezuela and happening in Russia and other countries that have sanctions against them and saw their currencies plummet, by that happening, it brings on massive inflation. Inflation in Venezuela, it couldn't go any higher. To pay $126 for a dollar, a thing of French fries is ludicrous, but that is true because that's how much their currency has dropped. I've mentioned this many times, that my partner from Venezuela had to move his family to Trinidad and leave behind 10 million Venezuelan dollars because it was worthless, absolutely worthless. So that's what I'm talking about with currency devaluations. One of the major reasons that you want to own diamonds and gold is because of currency devaluation, but the most important asset to own because of currency devaluation is definitely diamonds. It's the only asset that could be sold in other currencies, and is portable private wealth. Remember when we first started talking about diamonds, and I first started saying that, there could be a time in our life that our currencies could devalue tremendously. We could have problems with currencies and cash and things like that, and that's one of the reasons that we want to own diamonds. Well, those days are here now. Those days are right here. And again, as crazy as that statement seemed several years ago, it's all happening right before our very eyes. So again, at this particular point, we're sticking with our recommendations. You need to own hard assets that are not traded outside of the banking system, basically, or that are traded outside of the banking system. You don't want anything paper. Stocks are going to plummet. Paper commodities are plummeting at a time when gold and silver physically is in a very tight place. The fact is that the Canadian and American mints cannot get enough physical gold and silver in order to make their very profitable coin programs. But how in the world has gold dropped $100 and silver dropped $2 in the past couple weeks if there's a shortage of gold and silver? That's what I'm saying. These markets make no sense to the layman that doesn't understand why this is happening. So if you don't, and you need to know, because it's imperative to sustain your money at this point, not lose it, and even make money, you need to give me a call. I'll explain to you how we do it and what type of investments can profit for you at a time when most people are not making money.
Speak with Harold. 1-800-432-1022. Connect with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Our featured diamond of the week, an outstanding investment, a 0.22 carat pear-cut fancy red argyle. We'll talk more about diamonds in the second half of the show. There does seem to be, and we have about 3 minutes left in our first segment, a war on cash. People are hiding cash in their microwaves in Sweden as they get close to a cashless society with negative interest rates. Sweden is shaping up to be the first country to plunge its citizens into a fascinating and terrifying economic experience. Negative interest rates in a cashless society. The Swedish central bank on Wednesday held its benchmark rate at negative 0.35%. The retail banks have yet to pass that negative rate on to Swedish consumers. They face increased pressure to do so as long as interest rates remain where they are. That's a problem because Sweden is the closest country on the planet to becoming an all-electronic, cashless society. Remember, Sweden is a place where if you use too much cash, banks call the police because they think you might be a terrorist or a criminal. Swedish banks have started removing cash ATMs from rural areas, upsetting people and, in particular, older folks and farmers. Credit Suisse says, the rule of thumb in Scandinavia is if you have to pay in cash, something is wrong. If banks charge customers negative interest rates in a cashless society, those consumers are not able to withdraw their money as cash to shield it under their punitive mattresses. Now, they say that consumers' only choice in such a scenario is to spend it or let the bank take it. The theory is that by forcing people to spend cash rather than save it, you will spur economic growth. So you can see there's a war on paper money. That's why we're advocating having hard assets like diamonds, gold, and silver. Speak more and learn more about hard assets with Harold Siegel, 1-800-432-1022, or connect with him at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. In fact, one of the things that their loose monetary policy has created in Sweden is a housing bubble. Consumer debt is 175% of disposable income, one of the highest in Europe. And it even gets better. Many Swedes, if you can believe it, with the current interest rates and the prices of homes, it would take most Swedes a century to repay mortgages at current levels. The prices are just absolutely crazy. So you can see that around the world there are some serious financial problems, and there's a war on cash. And I would definitely recommend, and Harold does as well, speak with Harold Siegel, learn more about investing in hard assets, diamonds, gold, and silver, 1-800-432-1022, or connect with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Going to come back and talk about two major auctions that are happening next week as the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us by the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on November the 6th, 2015. Our time is 9:09 Mountain. Our radio show runs on 630 CHED in Edmonton. Over the next couple of weeks, our show may be moved around due to CFL football. We will keep you up to date on that. If you ever miss a radio show, they are archived on Harold's two websites, HESradio.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. We have a podcast as well through iTunes. Type in The World Financial Report on Radio. You'll find us there. We're portable. We go on any device that you have. Connect with Harold. rarecoloreddiamonds.com is the website. The telephone number, 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. And we should remind you that we have a free weekly newsletter. And if you would like to receive that newsletter, we'll be happy to send it out to you via email free of charge every week. It has lots of interesting information. You can go through it in minutes or spend hours if you want. And we have a little breaking news. This is being reported now by the Wall Street Journal via Bloomberg and CNN. John Kerry recommends against the Keystone XL pipeline. The move likely kills the project, and U.S. President Obama is going to speak to the citizens of the United States shortly. Rather interesting. In the Financial Post here in Canada, there was a story this week. We have it in our free weekly newsletter. In the United States, they have built 9 Keystone pipelines. The size of the Keystone, they've built 9 pipelines that size in the time that we've been debating this issue. Rather bizarre, to say the least. You have to really wonder about the motivations of what's going on in the United States. Our featured diamond this week, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond, a 0.22 carat pear-cut fancy red argyle. Red is the rarest of the rare. You add that to the fact that it's an argyle, and Harold, you have a massive winner of a diamond here for investment purposes. It is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, you better believe it is, and extremely rare. I mean, red diamonds are the rarest, as you said, Randy, the rarest of all diamonds. Very, very seldom does one ever become available. And again, they've gone up tremendously in value. In fact, a 1 carat red diamond, if you could ever possibly get one, they're now in the $3 million range, so the most expensive of all diamonds. But the fact is that the worse and worse that these economies get and the worse the currency markets get, diamonds become a much more attractive investment. And as Randy brought up earlier about a cashless society, that is definitely happening. In actual fact, I was out with one of my closest friends last weekend, and he's a Swiss banker, and he said it's pretty well here. I said, when is this going to happen? He said, within 10 years, we will be totally cashless. I've got a report on this that's tremendous. It's a 5-page report. A cashless society may be closer than most people would ever dare to imagine, and what the implications are going to be. If you want this report, contact me, and I will definitely send it to you, and we can discuss what is going to happen. And basically what you really need to know about this is that if you have cash hidden, like a lot of us do, that's going to do you no good. And if you don't get it back into the system, you're going to find that you're going to lose that money. A lot of things are happening in that area, so what you really need to do is contact me. I will send you this report, obviously free of charge, and we can discuss it. And if you are one that is sitting with cash on the sidelines hidden, like a lot of us are, there's going to be ramifications for that, so you need to contact me. But the fact is that with all of this happening, with a potential cashless society, with the currency markets plummeting, with the potential of higher interest rates and everything happening in the world right now, most of it can be offset by owning diamonds. The fact is that a diamond can be sold in another currency. So, for example, the people in Greece that were suffering so severely for the last couple of years and found that the banks were closed for a month and they couldn't get any money, the fact is that if you owned any kind of diamond, you could have gone across the border to Germany or Switzerland, you could have sold that diamond and ended up with a bunch of cash, and that cash can get you back into business. It can pay some bills and it can feed your family. So a diamond is a very, very important asset, and one of the reasons that I love the diamond market is primarily because it's not regulated by the government in the sense that it's not traded on exchanges. It's a tiny little market. We deal primarily in rare colored diamonds that start at about $20,000 and go up to the $40 to $50 million range. And again, when we first started talking about diamonds to you about 10 years ago, I remember one of the first things that we discussed is exactly what's happening right now, that there's going to be massive changes in currencies, and if all of your assets are in one currency, you're going to have a lot of problems moving forward with that, and let's face it, that's happening now. My Canadian clients that own diamonds are up 30% just on the currency alone, because when they bought diamonds, the American and the Canadian dollar were basically even. Now the American dollar is worth 30% more, and diamonds are priced at this point in U.S. dollars. So everybody who owns diamonds, forget about how much the diamond has gone up in value, just the currency alone has made you 30%. The thing about owning a diamond, it's not a short-term situation. You don't buy it and sell it in 2 or 3 or 4 years. You're just not going to make the money that you should. The longer you hold on to it, the more value that diamond accumulates. Diamonds that I've owned for 10, 15 years now have got, some of them have gone up as much as 1,000%. There's no investments out there that can pay that type of return. But with everything happening in the world, with currency devaluation, tremendous inflation in Venezuela and Russia and Iran and other parts of the world, it's never ever been more important to own diamonds than right now. And we've got some amazing diamonds for you to own. Like I say, diamonds that start at $20,000 and will increase by 15% a year. The fact is that with investments today, the most important thing is capital preservation, keeping your money. The next most important thing is capital appreciation, making money on your money. Well, we all know that capital appreciation today is extremely difficult to accomplish. The real estate market is not a good market. The stock market is a casino. It's a crapshoot. It's the most risky thing that you could trade. The commodity markets are manipulated. Everything at this particular point that can be manipulated is. However, diamonds are a private investment, portable private wealth, real estate in your pocket, one of the most important assets you could ever own. Yellow flawless diamonds. We cut those diamonds. We get them from mines that we own and other miners that we deal with. We're the largest cutter and polisher of yellow flawless diamonds. And those diamonds are extremely rare. Diamonds, again, that start at $20,000, $30,000 can increase by 15%. You put them away for a long period of time, 10, 15, 20 years, the returns are astronomical. If you don't end up needing the money yourself, you give them to the kids and grandkids, better than stocks or anything else that they could possibly own, because they don't depreciate, they don't deteriorate like other stocks and everything else does, and they could never ever go to zero like General Motors and other stocks did. And then there's the pink diamonds that come from Argyle Mine. The Argyle Mine is going to close in less than 5 years, and for anybody who owns an Argyle pink or a pink diamond in general is going to see a huge increase, because there will not be any more pink diamonds, or a very, very small amount of them. So again, these are the type of assets that we bring to you. We also own H. Siegel Fine Auctions, which is a live virtual auction site where people can attend our auctions from all over the world. Now, because the Canadian dollar has dropped so much, we held off last year on doing any auctions, but we will start to do auctions again at the end of this year and going into next year, and they will be exciting. You're going to start to see diamonds that we cut ourselves that are going to absolutely blow you away. The type of assets that will make you tremendous returns and protect your money, unlike almost any other asset in the world today. So, again, Randy, I think the proof is really in the pudding, because once you read off what some of the auction results are, I think the listeners are going to understand much more how important of an asset owning a rare colored diamond is, and how over the longer term you can make a fortune in that market.
If you'd like to get auction results from us, we'll be happy to send them out to you. We have auction results from 2 auctions from sales with Christie's and Sotheby's. Our featured diamond this week is a .22 carat paracut fancy red Argyle, the rarest of the rare. Now, what's going to be happening next week? A 12 carat blue moon diamond worth $55 million is going up on auction. And that's going to be happening on November the 11th. Magnificent Jewels and Noble Sale in Geneva. Now, the day before, on November the 10th, Christie's is going to be auctioning off a pink diamond that may sell for up to $28 million. And this is another diamond that is absolutely stunning. It's a cushion cut, and only 3 pure, vivid pink diamonds larger than 10 carats have ever been put up for sale. This is 16.08 carats. It's an absolutely gorgeous diamond. And we will have auction results next week for 2 auctions that are happening in Geneva on the 10th and the 11th. If you'd like to take a look at these diamonds, get our free weekly newsletter from Harold, connect with him, 1-800-432-1022, or go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com. And it's not only diamonds that are projecting big increases at auction. We're seeing art, Modigliani. Some art from Modigliani went for a record price, I was reading this week. Also, a 15-carat Burmese ruby could fetch $15 million December 1st when Christie's has a sale, Hong Kong Magnificent Jewel Sale. And there are 2 diamonds, pink diamonds, included in the sale. A 7.53-carat fancy intense pink diamond ring. The estimate on it, $5 to $8 million. and a 5.22 carat fancy, intense, internally flawless, cushion-shaped diamond ring. The estimate on it, $3 to $4.5 million. We're seeing record prices for cars, even handbags, art, diamonds. You have a Burmese ruby looking at possibly going for $15 million. It's not a surprise, Harold, when we have stories. Here we are in Sweden. And you can see the story in our free weekly newsletter, going to a cashless society, negative interest rates, forcing people, in essence, to obviously spend money because you're going to lose it if you're just sitting in a bank account with a negative interest rate. On top of it, there's a housing bubble in Sweden, and that could pop at any time, paying off a mortgage over 100 years, and people in debt 175% of what they bring in. It's absolutely absurd, some of the things that are going on. And that's why we say, take a look at hard assets. Speak with Harold, personally, privately, rarecoloreddiamonds.com or 1-800-432-1022. And over the last couple of weeks, we have talked about auction results. If you would like to get auction results from Christie's and Sotheby's, we'll be happy to send them out to you. And we should have more results coming up for the sales that are happening next week. Harold, I would love to see, and this is the rarest of the rare, this blue diamond. It's one of a kind on the planet. It's nature's art. It's like a Picasso or a Modigliani. It's a nature's art, and some people say $55 million, that's a lot of money, but it is the rarest of the rare because there's only one on the planet, and we suspect somebody with deep pockets is going to show up and make an investment in that diamond or the pink diamond for around $28 million.
Well, there's a reason why these diamonds are up for sale. There's a reason why they're going to sell for the prices that they are. And there's a reason why people will buy them. Again, people will pay that kind of multi-millions of dollars for an asset because it has value to it. It will never decrease in value. And over the longer term, the returns will be astronomical. So it's all relative. Again, not a lot of people can spend $50 million on anything, let alone on an investment diamond, but there are diamonds that are within your comfort level. There are diamonds that start at $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 that over time you can double, triple, quadruple your money or more. We anticipate that the price of vivid Argyle pinks will increase by 1,000% over the next 10 years. There won't be any more. When you buy the very best, you get the most back for it. So, again, if you're sitting in paper assets like stocks, bonds, those type of very risky assets, you may want to take a different view. You may want to look at the hard assets, which, again, never go to zero, never do what stocks do, are not manipulated in the same sense that stocks and paper assets are. And again, the best example I can give you is what's happening with gold and silver. We know that there are shortages of gold and silver. We know that the price of silver is so low right now that many of the mines have shut down. So when there's less of a commodity that's as important as silver, for example, when there's less of it on the market and the demand is very high, it's impossible for the price not to go up, except in the times that we're in right now. And that's why I'm saying that when the government allows banks to short markets like gold and silver as heavily as they are, it takes everything away from the market. No longer does that market trade on fundamentals or on technicals because it's just being manipulated down and nobody seems to do anything about it. It's a real travesty to think that we live in the type of world today where this type of skullduggery can go on a daily basis. But it does. And the fact that it does, we just have to be smart about it. Either stay out of that market or wait for it to give us opportunities to make money with it. And there will be other opportunities, and we'll certainly let you know when that is coming. Again, there's a massive situation coming up as far as a cashless society. I'm about to do, within the next month, a very large online seminar on this very subject. You'll be able to attend it from the comfort of your own home, your own computer, your iPhone, your iPad, anything like that. You'll be able to attend my seminar. I'll announce the date within the next week or two. but you're going to be able to learn everything about what's happening in the markets, learn how I am able to predict these type of markets, and get the reports that we're going to put out on the cashless society that is basically here and how it's going to affect you. Most people have no idea how that's going to affect them, but the fact is that if you have money sitting buried in a bank, in a safety deposit box, or in your safe at home, and it's a substantial quantity, you're going to have to do something with that very, very quickly, or else you're going to lose it. So number one, if you want to learn about this quicker, get in touch with me and I'll send you this report and I'll be able to discuss it with you. But I do also let you know that I am planning an online seminar in which I anticipate that a few thousand people will actually join in. So it'll be a free seminar. It's going to enlighten you as to what's happening in the world today and what you need to do about it in order to stay ahead of the curve. And again, if you don't have this information right now, you need to call me immediately and get a copy of this report called The Cashless Society, maybe closer than most people would ever dare to imagine, and then we can discuss how it's going to affect you individually. And if you're one of the people like myself that is sitting on a lot of cash, you need to know what to do with that. So, again, we're going to have a large seminar online that you'll be able to attend from the comfort of your own home, iPhone, iPad, anything like that. And, again, at this particular point, for all those that are listening to today's show, you can get a copy of today's report, which is different than the newsletter. You definitely want to get the newsletter, but you also want to get this report on the Cashless Society, which is coming our way in the very, very near future.
1-800-432-1022. Get that report Harold's talking about on the Cashless Society, 1-800-432-1022. Get our free weekly newsletter and read the story about Sweden, them moving towards cashless society and at negative interest rates, a housing market that's in a bubble. 1-800-432-1022 or rarecoloreddiamonds.com. The most secure and profitable investment, millions of years in the making, rare-colored diamonds, nature's art, private, portable, stable wealth. Speak with Harold today about owning your own diamond investment portfolio. And our featured diamond is, and this is the rarest of the rare, because we're talking about an Argyle diamond, and yet at the same time, a red diamond. Red diamonds, very, very rare. And we know the Argyle mine, their diamonds are rare too because they're going to be shutting down the mine in 5 years. That means 90 to 95% of the world's pink diamonds gone. Our featured diamond is a 0.22 carat pear cut fancy red Argyle. I love the pear cut. It's perfect for a ring. See this diamond, featured diamond of the week at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. It's a perfect diamond for an investment portfolio. If you're just starting out, this would be a great cornerstone, a great bedrock to start, a great foundation. And check it out online. Speak with Harold, 1-800, and you can call. Obviously, the call is free, 1-800-432-1022, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. When it comes to diamonds, remember privacy. That's one of the compelling reasons to invest in a diamond, privacy. It's portable wealth, real estate in your pocket. Estate planning, it's something that can be passed on from generation to generation. Great price stability and good long-term growth. And when it comes to price stability, we're talking about Venezuela, McDonald's fries. $126 for large McDonald's fries, $50,000 for an iPhone. That's what happens when you have currencies and inflation completely out of control. You want to own items, hard assets, that governments cannot print, that governments cannot control, that you have control over, and you have them in your hand. And Harold, this week's diamond is a must-have for an investor that's out there. And these diamonds go very, very quickly. Come Monday morning, someone will be on the phone with you, making an investment in that diamond, and do not pass it by. Give Harold a call. The telephone number, and remember, it's free, 1-800-432-1022. But Harold, I just love the pear cut.
Me too. It's a very rare cut. And the other thing about a pear cut is that it's narrow and then widens. It looks larger than most other diamonds. So, again, just the opportunity. Very, very few people in the world will ever get a chance to own a red diamond. The fact is, very few people in the world even know that red diamonds exist. They're a mystery. Nobody knows how they turned red. We know that boron turns a diamond blue. We know that uranium turns a diamond green. We know that nitrogen turns a diamond yellow and orange. But what we don't know is what turns a diamond pink or red. It's a true mystery, and most of them come from the Argyle mine. So, again, the Argyle mine is closing, and if you own an orange or a pink, a pink or a red diamond, you have something that is beyond rare, and as an investment will do tremendously well for you.
One of the stories that is in our free weekly newsletter, and this goes to show that the financial crisis is not over. In Greece, they're about to get $2 billion in aid from their euro payout. And the Greek banks face a bill. They need roughly $16 billion to keep going. Money they don't have. And Europe's biggest banks are cutting 30,000 jobs. It gives you an idea of what's happening in the financial markets today. It's very, very confusing. And if you'd like to have the muddled, unmuddled, have it explained to you, that's where Harold Siegel comes in. Harold obviously advocates for hard assets, gold, silver, diamonds, and he can help you with your investments. He's made a very generous offer of letting you give him a call, and he'll sit down, take all the time you want to speak with you about your situation, and it is a private call. 1-800-432-1022, and the website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Harold, our featured diamond, and someone will be walking away with that featured diamond, no doubt on Monday, is a 0.22 carat pear-cut rare, and this is very rare, fancy red Argyle. When we know the Argyle mine, which recently had its tender, and the tender did very, very well, is going to run out in 5 years, this is the type of diamond that will turn out to be a massive, massive winner when the Argyle mine shuts down. Money will be made by somebody. We have about 2 minutes left in our show here.
Well, there's no doubt. Again, to own a treasure like this, very few people in the world will ever get a chance to do it. But again, it's a phenomenal investment. It's extremely rare. And again, it's so beautiful. To put into a ring or a necklace would just be unbelievable. So again, just in general, with the entire financial world, the way it is, the chaos and everything that's happening, where again, currencies are plummeting, where it would cost you $126 to buy an order of French fries in Venezuela, I think you can now start to understand the importance of owning assets outside of the financial system, again, that cannot be manipulated like stocks and commodities and that type of thing. But again, when the Argyle mine closes down, the price of pink and red diamonds will increase substantially, and that's the type of assets that we bring to our clients.
Negative interest rates on bank accounts, as we're seeing in Sweden, cashless society, they're moving towards that, and Harold has a special report. He wants to share with you about a cashless society and what that will mean for you and your investments. You can speak with Harold about getting this special report on a cashless society, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. And Harold has said he's going to put together a special seminar, and we will let you know more about that as the seminar comes up, but it will be one that will be free. You'll be able to view it online. But in the meantime, get our free weekly newsletter. We have that story about Sweden and their situation with negative interest rates and moving towards a cashless society, also their housing bubble, and then get the special report from Harold about the cashless society that he was able to put together. This is something that you definitely want to read. Harold, it's been a very interesting show, and once again, thank you for your knowledge.
It's my pleasure, Randy. I wish everybody a wonderful weekend and a very profitable day.
Remember, our featured diamond, this is from rarecoloreddiamonds.com. It will go very, very quickly come Monday morning. If you are interested in investing in this diamond, call immediately. 0.22 carat pear-cut fancy red Argyle. The telephone number, 1-800-432-1022 or rarecoloreddiamonds.com. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.